Hey y'all, hey. I felt led to repost this word. I was looking at some stuff with God earlier, and I was supposed to be finding something up. Well, I was looking at some previous words I recorded, and I was supposed to be picking a different word. And I saw this one, and God caused it to stand out to me, and He had me listen to it. And this may not be for many people right now, but it's definitely for at least one person. So I had to repost it, at least for the one person it's for. A lot of people right now, God is trying to transition us into whatever position He's calling us into next. A lot of people are going through a lot of different transitions right now. And in this dream, it was basically showing someone who God was trying to transition into a different position. And they were, following God's lead at first, and then they were tempted, right? They were tempted. At first, they were headed in the direction that God was taking them, but then temptation came. And in this dream, this video, y'all, is about 2 years old. But like I said, God made it stand out to me. It's for somebody, so I gotta repost it out of obedience, even if, like I said, even if it's just for one person. But whatever this thing is, these transitions that God is taking us to, the place He's taking us to next, a lot of this is going to be life-changing for a lot of people. This is going to be a life-changing transition or position that God is taking a lot of us into right now. And, God always reminds me that the enemy, the devil, loves to copy God. He loves to mimic Him, and he's this particular temptation that is standing in the way or that's coming your way for whoever this is for. Whatever it is, it carries a heavy yoke of bondage. Y'all gonna hear me be real repetitive on this video. I asked God if He wanted me to post a short version of this or the long version, and He led me to post the long version. It's repetitive, but it needs to be for whoever this is for. And I pray that He lets you know exactly, that He takes over the conversation for you and shines light on that thing. But whatever it is, so God's trying to usher you into a place that's going to change your life, a position that's going to change your life for the better. The enemy desires to tempt you, to hold you back. And this temptation will change your life as well, but it will be for the worse. You see? So he's trying to mimic the Father by throwing this temptation your way. And long story short, this is not going to be a one and done. You may think you can do this real quick and then, continue with your life as normal. Like, I'm going to do one more thing out in this world, and then I'm going to surrender to God. I'm going to do one last thing before I move into this position. And that last thing, you're going to be stuck there for a while. Okay? Whatever this is, and God forgives everybody. So it's not a matter of God will forgive you or not. This particular thing just carried a heavy yoke of bondage, whatever it is. But yeah, I'm going to let y'all listen to the dream. I love y'all. I just want to give that short introduction of why I was reposting this one. It's definitely for someone. All right. I love y'all, and y'all be blessed. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so I want to share a quick prophetic word with y'all that God gave me through a prophetic dream. So on the first part, it's a confirmation, and the second part, it's a warning. It was so heavy. He gave it to me earlier this morning, and I'm just now getting to sit down and release it. So I'm praying God brings everything back to memory. But the first part of it, He was just confirming something for me. So the last couple of days, I've been seeing 11:11 a lot again, like I used to when I first started seeing it. I started seeing 11:11, 111s, I started seeing that probably in 2019. And after I saw it, shortly afterwards, I had some huge, significant changes occur in my life. And over time, He showed me different numbers, and I will see some more than others. But recently, I started seeing the 11:11s again, or the 111s. I start seeing them a lot again recently, the last couple of days. So if you've been seeing them a lot too recently, this may be confirmation for you, okay? So in this dream, me and a group of people went into this building, right? So we go into this building, and I go off to the side in this room by myself. And when I'm in this room, I look at the time and I see 111 or something like that, right? I saw the 11, right? And God immediately confirms to me it's what I think it is. He says, yes, it's restoration. He told me that the 11s I had been seeing, he confirmed that it meant restoration. He said, yes, it is what you think it is. It's restoration. That's what he said. That's the change that's coming this time. It's restoration. Because like I mentioned before, last time, there were some huge lifestyle changes, like a big move that I didn't even expect or wasn't even planning that happened shortly after I saw 1111s for the first time. So this time, God was confirming it is what you expect it to be. It's restoration. So if you've been seeing it, this was confirmation that yes, it's restoration. And you'll know if this is for you, because you kind of been wondering, and God has kind of been showing. He's been taking you that direction. He's been putting it on your heart and spirit and surrounding you with messages of that, and just putting it on your heart and spirit a lot. Okay, so that's the first part of this dream. It was just to confirm that if that's what you're seeing. Okay, so on the second part of this dream, when I'm leaving the room that I'm in, like they're calling me out, it's time to leave, right? So while I'm over there and God is confirming some things for me, I do see the 11, but he's also downloading things into me while I'm in that room. I'm having a conversation with him. He's downloading other things into me other than that. And then it's time to go. They're calling us out. We got to go. And so as I'm leaving and I go through the doorway, there's this guy. He's with our group. He came in with us. He was supposed to lead with us, but he got caught up on this doorway, right? He got caught up at the doorway and he was being tempted. He was undergoing heavy temptation. That's what I heard when I woke up. Heavy temptation. He was undergoing heavy temptation. And this wasn't the first time they tempted him since we've been in that building. This was actually the second time. But the second time, they were going harder on him. The temptation was heavier than it was the first time. So for some people, this temptation that you're either experiencing it now or you're about to experience it. And whatever this is, this can be something that has already tempted you before. But this time, it's coming in heavier. This time, it's coming in stronger. It's coming back stronger, okay? That's for certain people. It doesn't have to be the same thing. For some people, it may be. For other people, it may be something different. But anyway, so his brother was at the doorway, and his brother was trying to sway him, and he was like, "It's okay if you do. It's okay if you don't." It was like they were. I want to say they were sweet talking him. They were telling him it was no pressure to make that choice. It was no pressure. He was being tempted and he didn't know it. And they were telling him it was no pressure if he decided to go through with it or if he didn't decide to go through with it. But they kept saying it was no pressure. It's okay. It's okay if you do. It's okay if you don't. Now, I had already been called out of that room, but I was leaving reluctantly because I saw what was going on with him. And they were trying to shut the door behind me and leave him in that room by himself with the people that were tempting him. And the thing is, there was a heavy yoke of bondage attached to that temptation. What God showed me, and I'm trying not to be like uptight about this, but I'm low-key kicking myself because I wish I would have released this earlier because the Holy Spirit was so heavy earlier about this word. And I'm just now able to sit down and release it. And so it was a heavy yoke of bondage attached to this temptation. It was a heavy yoke of bondage. God kept saying it. This bondage was heavy. This bondage was heavy. If the guy made the wrong choice and he gave into the temptation, there were spirits waiting to attach themselves to him. Right? They're waiting to attach themselves to him. And even though God would forgive him afterwards, if he asked, he wouldn't be able to, it would probably take a while for him to ask for forgiveness. This temptation, if he gave into it, would be life-changing. That's what I kept hearing. I heard it will be life-changing. That the enemy desired to, what's the word God was using? He desired he wanted to throw off the plans that God had for your life. So this temptation that's heavy, that's coming or that you're experiencing right now, there's a heavy yoke of bondage attached to it that's not easily broken. And it's going to cause a major separation between you and God. And the enemy desires to throw you off course. He desires to, what's the word God was using? Hold on, y'all. Okay. He wanted to derail you from the path that God has you on, okay? This heavy temptation the enemy is throwing in there, he's hoping to derail you from the path God has you on. It's going to be life-changing. It will be life-changing, okay? Y'all know the enemy is a copycat. And so what God has planned for us, with the promises he has in store for us, those are going to be life-changing. When he fulfills those promises in our lives, they will be life-changing. The enemy wants to, this temptation that he's throwing, this heavy temptation that he's putting in play right now, this will have life-changing consequences that will not be good. You won't see it right now. It's going to look innocent. It's going to look like it's not so bad. But it's going to have life-changing consequences if you give into this temptation that he's presenting before you. And one thing, like the people, it was people in this room that was tempting him, but I felt it as spirits that was tempting him. They were banking on, I can hear people's thoughts a lot in my dreams. And they were banking on this man's childhood. They were referring back to his childhood, and they were thinking because of some things that happened in his childhood. They were thinking because of some childhood traumas, they could tempt him like this. They were thinking this would be a good temptation for him and that he would give into it. And like I said, he was surrounded by people that were trying to talk him into it. It was heavy. It was really, really, really heavy. The whole thing was heavy. But God told me that if he gives into it, it was a heavy yoke of bondage that would be very hard to come back from. It would be very hard to get out of. It would be life-changing. It would be life-changing. This temptation came with a high cost that would be life-changing, and that would delay the purpose that God had for his life. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm looking off because I'm trying to remember everything God told me earlier. I actually, since I couldn't do a video earlier, I recorded it, but I didn't know that my recorder wasn't working properly. So I was like I'm like, the enemy does not play fair, because that word was like heavy, and I put it all on the recorder, and my recorder didn't capture it. But it's really, really, really important for whoever this is that's going through this temptation. It's really important that you make the right choice, because this is going to cause, if you make the wrong choice, it will cause it will cause a big separation between you and God. And there's a heavy yoke of bondage that will attach itself to you. Okay? And he also showed me, like I told you, I could hear people's thoughts in my dreams. The man in this dream, the guy that was being tempted, he had a small, like, thought of curiosity for this temptation. He was a little bit curious about it. And the enemy wanted to broaden that curiosity so he could open the door, right? It was just a small smidget of curiosity in his mind about this temptation. And so the enemy wanted to come in and broaden that small amount of curiosity and make it bigger so he can open the door. Now, what God showed me is if that person opened the door to that temptation, he would then be giving those spirits and that heavy yoke of bondage permission to attach itself to him. Okay? That's why it was so very important. So whoever's being tempted, if you give into it and you open the door for that temptation, this heavy yoke of bondage that I keep saying it over and over because I kept hearing it on repeat this morning, it's going to attach itself to you. You will be giving it permission by opening that door. Okay? You will give it permission by opening that door. It's a heavy yoke of bondage that desires to separate you from God and desires to derail you from your purpose. It desires to delay you. So we came in as a group in a dream. God confirmed things to me when I was in the corner talking to him. He downloaded some new things into me. And this is somebody else who came in the building with me. This guy, he was being tempted heavily. And when it was time to leave, he wasn't leaving with us. I came out on the other side of that door. He was still in the doorway being tempted heavily. And God was just showing me how that since the enemy can't stop some people, he's bringing a lot of temptation to derail you from your purpose. And I'll give you an example, but I don't want to limit this to this one example because it could be more than this, but I'm just giving you a simple example. Say you have a thought in your mind about somebody that you're curious about, maybe this guy that you always wondered about, you want to sleep with, or whatever the case may be, right? And say you give into that temptation, right? I know a lot of us are undergoing obstacles right now. We're under a lot of pressure. And say you just say, what the hey, and you give into that guy, right? You might get pregnant by that guy. Or, you know, put the shoe on the other foot. You know, it's a girl you've been curious about, and you just go ahead and give into that temptation. You might impregnate her, or you might catch something from her. Whatever this is with this temptation, I'm just giving y'all an example. It's not limited to that. It's not limited to that. It could be in business, or, you know, pray about it and see if God will bring, if it's for you, he will bring something to mind. If it's for you, you won't have to go searching deep for it at all. But whatever it is, it's a heavy yoke of bondage that will attach itself to you if you give into that temptation. If you open that door, it won't be easily closed. Okay. So I pray this made sense. I pray it made sense for whoever it was for. It was a huge warning. It's been on my heart all morning, all day, and I'm just now able to get it out. And like I said, I recorded it in my recorder. I lost my recording, so or I didn't record properly. I couldn't hear what I said. So, but anyways, confirmation for those seeing 111. God said it does mean restoration. It does mean restoration. If you're seeing the 111s, the 1111s, that means restoration. And it's coming. It's coming soon. And for those undergoing temptation, you don't want to play with this one. It has some stuff attached to it that you won't be able to detach from easily. The enemy is trying to derail you. He really is. And I'm emphasizing this because it's heavy. It's heavy. All right. So I'm gonna keep you in prayers, whoever this is for, and y'all do the same. Even if this is not you, be praying for our brothers and sisters in Christ, because God showed me some of them are going through some heavy temptation, and this is gonna. The enemy is slick. He will come at you one way, and when that one way is not working, he just finds other ways. He likes to find your weaknesses. The spirits in this dream, they were banking on this person's childhood. They knew about this person's childhood trauma. That's one of the reasons they expected to succeed with trying him in this area. And the enemy also knew that he had curiosity. We have to be careful of the thoughts we entertain. And when we know that it's not good thoughts, we need to rebuke them. And we need to, anytime it pop up, we need to rebuke them immediately and not play on those thoughts, right? And so, anyways, y'all, I hope this helps who it was meant for. I thank you, Father God, that it gets to whoever it's meant for. But yeah, it's a heavy yoke of bondage, and it's not easily broken. It's not easily broken. This is a huge test. For some people, you've already been tested in this area, and it's coming back stronger. But just rebuke it, because on the other side of that door, God has a life-changing promise for you, and your life will never be the same. It's going to be a good life-changing promise. The enemy wants to change your life in a different way. He wants to derail it, and it's going to be a negative outcome, okay? All right, y'all. All right. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be blessed. All right. Okay, real quick, y'all. It was so heavy. I feel like I can't let go of it, but I have to let go of it. I'm just concerned about whoever's facing this. But something else God told me: every thought is not your thought. Okay, the enemy plants thoughts too. The person was thinking about giving into this temptation because they've been having a heavy thought about it. So, you know, if you think about something long enough, you think you're supposed to give into it, right? You think, well, it's a reason. And, you know, or you think you saw a sign, or you think it's a sign that you're supposed to give into that temptation. And what it is, first of all, if it goes against God, that just answers all the questions. There's nothing you really need to debate or wonder about, right? If it goes against God, there's nothing to wonder about, right? So he was showing me how the enemy planted this thought in his mind, right? The enemy can plant thoughts in your mind. He can plant thoughts in your mind. So just because you're struggling with a thought, that does not mean that you need to test it out, okay? You need to rebuke it and speak, you know, you got the mind of Christ over your mind, okay? You need to rebuke it. I don't care if you got to rebuke it 1,000 times a day. Okay, that's something God just wanted me to add. That if you're having temptation and it stemmed from a thought, every thought you think is not yours. Every thought you think is not yours. Okay. All right, y'all. I hope whoever this is for gets it. Like I said, it's very heavy, and this is something you don't want to play with because it desires to attach itself to you, but it needs your permission. You have to give it permission. And if you open that door to that temptation, you are giving it permission, and it will be able to attach itself to you. And again, it's not easily broken. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all go. just say no. Just say no because it's super heavy. I wish you could feel what I'm feeling. I mean, I don't want you to feel what I'm feeling, but what I'm saying is heavy. It's serious. It's not to be played with. It's not a one and done. You're not gonna be able to open up this door and close it right away. Okay? It's heavy. It's heavy. Okay? All right, y'all. All right, y'all be blessed.